Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you for holding this hearing and want to extend a thank you to all the witnesses. I understand we're going to have 7 on the panel today. I'm not sure. I remember a time we've had 7 witnesses on one panel, so I'm sure it'll be informative and lively and with all the cans there on the table, energetic, I would say, as too. But let me just say that ensuring the health of our children is a priority for all of us. And so we all take that responsibility very seriously. The energy drink industry is remarkably fast-growing, with American sales of energy drinks reaching $8.6 billion in 2012, which is about 12 times their level a decade ago, according to a recent article in The Economist. This rapid growth, however, has contributed to closer scrutiny of the industry and its products. Concerns about the levels of caffeine in energy drinks and the possible effects on children and adolescents who consume these products have prompted several studies and investigations. And while it is entirely appropriate to examine these issues, we should also consider the broader context regarding caffeinated products. Caffeine's been consumed for thousands of years. I'm sure most of us on this committee and in the Senate take advantage of it once in a while to get through our days. It's found in beverages such as coffee, tea, soft drinks, and in products containing cocoa and chocolate. But when I hear that caffeine may now be added to products as diverse as potato chips and marshmallows, I have to wonder whether our fascination with caffeine has gone too far. Some of our witnesses today will also note that certain energy drinks may contain other stimulants in addition to their caffeine content, and that the combination raises additional concerns. And so I look forward to the witnesses' discussion on this point as well. The industry has shared with the committee that most commonly sold energy drinks contain about half the caffeine of a similarly sized cup of coffee house coffee. For example, we're told that a typical 16-ounce can of one energy drink contains about 180 milligrams of caffeine. By comparison, my understanding is that a typical 16-ounce cup of coffee from a coffee house contains about 330 milligrams of caffeine. According to the FDA, most healthy adults can safely consume up to 400 milligrams of caffeine per day, but children can safely only consume between 45 and 85 milligrams of caffeine per day, depending on their weight. Few would challenge the statement that children should not be consuming highly caffeinated energy drinks. So I look forward to hearing the steps that the companies represented here today are taking to ensure their products are safe, as well as the efforts that they're undertaking to ensure their products are marketed appropriately. Protecting the health of our children is very important. I believe it's also important to rely on good science, careful investigation, and accurate evaluations when assessing the possible health risks of energy drinks and other products. Given the broader context regarding the safety of caffeine and its sometimes significant use in non-energy drink beverages, it also seems appropriate that any discussion of the scientific determinations about safe levels of caffeine should examine the consumption of caffeine from a variety of products, not just energy drinks. I hope that the testimony and evidence put forward today is examined thoughtfully and within that larger context. Mr. Chairman, thank you again for holding this hearing, and I look forward to hearing from our witnesses. And thank the Senator from Illinois for being here. Mr. Coughlin, critics of the energy drink industry frequently cite a report by the Substance and Mental Health Services Administration, or SAMHSA, stating that the number of American emergency hospital visits involving energy drinks doubled between 2007 and 2011 to more than 20,000. And I'm wondering how you interpret those findings.
Senator, I'm familiar with that report. It's been mentioned several times today. I don't believe that report, because it's only a snapshot of emergency room visits, really gets at any causal relationships between energy drinks or the ingredients in energy drinks and the reason that the individual showed up at the emergency room. There are many limitations in the report. When someone comes to the ER, there is no indication of how much of any specific product they drank, including other products that may contain caffeine. The report points out that over half of the young adults who reported to, for whatever reason they needed to report to the ER, actually admitted to the use of alcohol and drugs of abuse, and I actually think they probably underreported that when they arrived at the emergency room. And so this snapshot, this 20,000 during this period from 2007 to 2011, there were actually 136 million visits to the ERs by individuals. And so a 20,000, N is equal to 20,000, we call it in the clinical world, is not a large number. And I think there are limitations in this data that it just never seem to come out.
Let me direct this to the folks on the panel representing the various energy drinks. The drink ingredients often include things other than caffeine, which has been pointed out, such as guarana, taurine, and vitamins. How do you test your products and the formulation of the ingredients in your products to ensure that they're safe and there are no negative health effects from those?
I'll take that question. Oop. There, am I on? Okay. Yes, thank you, Senator Thune. Rockstar has an independent expert panel that reviews our key ingredients and use levels in Rockstar energy drink products, all the beverages, and they conclude unanimously that the intended use of the ingredients, after investigating, and these are using peer-reviewed scientific papers as a basis of their opinion, and they investigate them, and they say that the use of these key ingredients alone or in combination in Rockstar's beverages is generally recognized as safe based on scientific procedures established by the United States Food and Drug Administration. So we rely upon our scientists to vet our products and make sure that they're safe. As we said, safety is our #1 concern, consumer safety.
Any of the others care to comment? Ms. Taylor?
Yes, Senator, I think it bears, it's worth mentioning that there is no source of any other stimulant or no source of caffeine in Red Bull other than the caffeine itself. So I think that bears mentioning. And then Red Bull with a long history, of course. I would cite the European Federation for, the EFSA organization, the European Food Safety Authority, which is the rough equivalent of the United States FDA, completed a 10-year review of the ingredients of Red Bull and concluded that there was no synergistic effect amongst the ingredients in Red Bull.
You, when you develop and implement your marketing campaigns, there's been a lot of discussion about who you're targeting with that advertising. How do you ensure that energy drinks aren't marketed to children? Again, any of the drink reps?
I'll take the question. I think that we look at the demographics and the type of sport to try and portray the personality and image that we are trying to establish for the brand. We do so, and our principal platform, where we spend probably well over half of our funds, are on motorsports. But like any sport, whether it be basketball, baseball, football, the audience is a very wide audience, and the audience is going to comprise children, the audience is going to comprise teenagers, and the audience is going to comprise older people than our demographic. But we look at the demographic and we generally try and focus on the sports that are most appropriate for our target demographic. So you can't exclude other demographics. And if you look at some of the sports that we do sponsor, we get some of the statistics. One of the sports that people sometimes cite as saying it's an action sport, does that in any way skew younger? The average age of the viewers of the X Games, which is the premier platform for action sports, is in their 30s. So yes, you will have younger or teenagers at that event or watching the event, but that's how you generally try and do it. You simply can't have a magical wand and cut off anywhere, whether it's actually viewing or it's on TV. And so we just try and get to sports that really represent our brand lifestyle. As I indicated in my remarks, I think it would be very difficult for us, and we would alienate adults and older teens, young adults, if we were to try and target our marketing and focus it on events that were primarily attractive to young teens or children. It just wouldn't work. But it's just no way you can exclude them, nor do any of the beer companies or alcohol companies exclude them when they advertise at normal sporting events.
One of the issues that surfaced with regard to energy drinks has been their classification either as a nutritional supplements or traditional beverages. It's my understanding that while Red Bull has always been classified as a traditional beverage, Monster and Rockstar have recently switched from marketing their products as nutritional supplements to traditional beverages.
That's correct.
And I'm wondering why that change was made and what are the impacts of the change, both with regard to the companies and to the consumers?
I can answer that for Rockstar, of course. In the fall of 2012. Oh, thank you. In the fall of 2012, Rockstar, the company, for competitive reasons, decided it was preferable to include nutrition facts panels consistent with FDA views and product reformulation. Rockstar Energy Drink has always, since 2005, displayed the caffeine content of per serving and per container on all of its beverages and will continue to do so. Rockstar will continue to comply with the adverse events reporting, even though not required to do so. Rockstar is volunteering to do that with the nutrition panel going forward. Rockstar is very proud of its record in food safety. Thank you.
Mr. Sachs, you want to comment on that, on the distinction?
Yes, thank you, Senator Thune. When we originally launched Monster in 2002, we got advice from our legal, regulatory attorneys, and they told us that our products qualified to be labeled both as a supplement, because they contain supplements that supplement the diet, and also as a conventional food, because the ingredients we believe were GRAS, generally accepted as safe. Based on their advice, we elected to label the products as dietary supplements. We included a warning label right from the outset, as I indicated, and we continue to do so. At that time, most of the other energy drinks were also labeled as supplements. Over the years, and in the more recent years, many of the energy drinks labels have changed from the major beverage companies as well. And earlier, towards the end of last year, earlier this year, there started to be a lot of being written in the press about the fact or the suggestion that Monster was being marketed as a supplement in order to somehow avoid the regulations as a food. We felt that that was unfounded. There was just no basis for it because we felt our product was equally qualified as a food. And as the industry tended to, and other competitors tended to move to be a food, we just felt there was just no purpose in staying a supplement. And we then notified the FDA, and we made the change. The change didn't result in any change in our formulations. We had a different type of warning label about consumption on our supplements. We then elected to fall in line again with the industry. We provide the caffeine content of our product per serving and per can, and also continue to have the warning label that our product should be consumed responsibly and not recommended for children. So it really has been a non-event for us from that point of view.
Mr. Chairman, my time's expired. Thank you.